So we had a comment on one of our ad posts over the summer that led us to talk about the varying lineups of the Dire Straits band. Hi, I'm Dave and I play lead guitar and lead vocals for DSUK in tribute to Dire Straits in the UK. Please drop by our Facebook page, give us a follow, and if you're a fan in the UK, please consider coming to meet us at one of our shows. In this episode, we're going to talk about 1985's monster, Brothers in Arms. 1985's Brothers in Arms is probably the most important album for the band, and definitely its biggest evolution yet. In terms of outlook, and in terms of starting to get some consistency for its membership. And it's probably the album with the most history attached to it. Whereas all of the other albums were recorded over a period of 8 to 9 weeks, Brothers in Arms was made between November of 1984 and February of 1985, prior to its 1985 May release. The album was recorded at Air Studios in Montserrat, which was sadly destroyed by volcano 1989-ish. Once again, the album was understandably produced by Mark Knopfler, and again, this album was engineered by Neil Dorfsman, the first time that a recording mixing engineer had been brought back to continue working with the band, after engineering Love Over Gold, and also Mark's soundtrack for Local Hero. And for the first time, the album was recorded entirely digitally, Mark being known for trying out new technology to try and elevate his music, although the move wasn't without its problems after a bunch of the recording tapes were found to be defective, wrecking the recording of 3 of the album's tracks. Arriving for the sessions this time were the surviving members Mark and John, joined by Alan Clark again on piano. Hal Lind is on guitar, although he left very early on in the recording process to be replaced by Jack Sonny, who was a friend of Mark's after meeting him working at Rudy's guitar store in New York. Terry Williams came in after replacing Pick during the Love Over Gold sessions. And then Guy Fletcher joins the band, providing more synth layers, who would go on to become a lifelong collaborator with Mark into the Hillbillies and the solo eras. But it didn't stop there. The album is packed with some of the best session players of the day. The Brecker brothers, Randy and Michael, playing trumpet and sax on Your Latest Trick, along with Malcolm Duncan providing more sax on the album. Neil Jason provided some of the epic slap bass for One World, as long as dropping in across the album to finish John's parts after he sprained his wrist. And Tony Levin dropped some Chapman Stick onto Why Worry, among others. But the biggest deals were Omar Hakim, who played for Sting at the time, was brought in to replace all of Terry Williams' drum parts after he felt that his drum parts just weren't working on the album. And Sting famously provides the BVs and gets a writing credit for Money for Nothing, with the I Want My MTV line being a similar melody to Please Don't Stand So Close to Me. Terry went out to tour the album, providing the band with some of the most memorable live drumming performances, along with Mark, John, Jack, Guy, Alan, and also joined by Chris White playing saxophone. Brothers in Arms wasn't a critical success. Even amongst the fans, it's far from the favourite, but it does contain some of the best-loved Dire Straits tracks, including Money for Nothing and Brothers in Arms. And as it was written to be an album for radio play, it really did its job of launching the band to the apex of its career. But little did we know that Mark only had one album left in him under the name of Dire Straits. So please join us for the next episode where we're going to look at the final Dire Straits album, 1992's On Every Street.